Okay, so let's get to it because time is money and the only thing that we really can't make up for. So, introductions. I'm Stacy Paulson. I am the mother of 6 amazing kids. I'm the grandma of 1. That's been just a couple of months, so that's exciting. I have been an entrepreneur for over 20 years and started in corporate business, have my business degree, I have an MBA, and I have loved this journey. It's been up and down and all around, but what it's created has been phenomenal for us and our family. And many of my kids now that are young adults, many of them have their own businesses. Of them, what they do is similar to what I've done. But I love running. I love all things health, very much from a personal standpoint. And I might share that later on today or on other days of the boot camp. But I want to kind of go through some housekeeping things as we get started and the agenda for today. So the replays, just so you're aware, will be housed in the Facebook group, and those will be temporary. If you are a VIP, then you will have access to those forever. And if you aren't a VIP and you want to at some point upgrade that, the link is in the Facebook group. You're welcome to do that. What that gives you is some bonus things. After this 1-hour training, we will have a live group call where I can walk you through different things. If you have questions, if you already have a business and you have questions, I can provide feedback for you. Or if you're trying to figure out how to get started or some of your hangups, challenges, that is the time for you. So each day after this live, we will be live in the Zoom room, and we'll have a quick break after this hour. So you can go run to the bathroom, get a drink, whatever you need to do, just stand up, and then we'll have that. In addition, I just kind of have a list here. If you have any questions at any time, please post that in the Facebook group, or if you're in YouTube, in the comments. If I don't get to them today because of time, I will make sure that I get to them tomorrow in the boot camp. For those who are just joining us, this is really a 4-day boot camp. The first day, so today we're going to be helping you to set up for sustainable success, not just for a short-term thing, which a lot of the things online are, they can create income, but a lot of people don't create income. They seem very gimmicky or short-term, like just a quick get a few bucks and then move on to the next thing, right? That's not what this is. This is going to help you to have the right mindset, even if you have a business right now and it's not to the place that you want it to be. It's always good to come back and revisit this, and these might be things that you're not aware of. So we're going to be doing that today. Tomorrow we're going to go into online business strategies, because this is very specific to online businesses. So you might have a business and you're trying to transition that online, or you just want to get started in this. You want to have the flexibility in your schedule to be able to work from anywhere, not be tied to a location. You might even have like an offline business that you're trying to create online income somehow. So we'll go through a lot of different strategies and tools, depending on who you are, what your background is, your interests are, your skill level. I will give you a ton of amazing ideas that you can decide, is this for me? Day 3, we're going to be making it easier to earn income because we have so many tech tools and systems, AI, to be able to do it yourself. But we'll also kind of go over the do it yourself versus doing it with someone, getting help to support you, because that can also speed things up as well. It can save you, it might take you a few hours of training to save you a year, or maybe you're in a 90-day program that can save you decades, right? Because you're just learning from someone else so that you can speed things up. And then day 4 really is a bonus day, but I encourage you all to come because I will be showing you behind the scenes what I am doing right now that creates the most income, profitable, sustainable, with flexibility in my time, my schedule. So I will be going behind the scenes there, and you can ask me any questions that you want. We'll be doing some giveaways on that day, Amazon gift cards, group strategy call. And I encourage you to join live if you can. If you're watching the replay, make sure you do it within 24 hours. You just don't want this to feel heavy, like, oh, I have all this to watch. So if you can't join, right now, that later tonight you're watching that, get on it. And just you're not behind. It's just don't procrastinate, right? You had some reason, something that stuck out to you as to why you wanted to join this bootcamp, and something spoke to you. Listen to that. The more you get good at listening and acting on those promptings that you receive, that's really when a lot of Okay, so let's jump in today. And I do want to preface that for those who are wanting to do online business, create income, whether that's just an extra income stream or you want this to be a full-time thing for you, most people will not do a thing. it's kind of like, oh, I want this vacation. I want this dream house. I want this thing. It really is just a dream because most people don't put into action the things that will help them to move forward. So I just encourage you to be one that, if you haven't been in the past to take action, that you decide, because it's your choice to decide if you want to really make things happen for you. And if you're here, you're live, or you're watching the replay, you're one of the few, because a lot of people will sign up for things and they do nothing, right? So you're one of the few that you're taking that next step to create what you want. So I want to kind of give you a vision of what this can be for you, and see if it aligns with things that are important to you that you would want in your life to have. Now, and I'm going to do this just kind of painting this picture for you by sharing kind of my journey with online business and entrepreneurship, and see what resonates with you. I encourage you to take notes, write some things down. What things stick out to you? Maybe this, I want it to look like that, or I don't want it to look like that. I like this, but not that, to get some clarity on this. And then I'm going to share with you some mind-blowing frameworks that will help you to get more clarity and really create a sustainable online income. Okay. So I graduated from business school a long time ago. It seems like I'm turning 50 in September, next month. But my first job, I was going to go work for Ford Motor Company in the corporate finance and marketing departments. And I just felt kind of sick to my stomach, that I didn't feel like it aligned with what I wanted. And I didn't have a whole lot of clarity on what I wanted as a young married woman. But I knew that I didn't want to be in a box, in a cubicle, doing something that I didn't really care about. I did not care about Ford cars and all that stuff and making them a lot of money. Now, did I want to create income? Yes. And did I want to use my degree? Yes. But I knew that that wasn't right. So I turned down that offer, and I ended up working for a merger and acquisition company that was online. And I was the marketing manager. I could work, in the office, but then as I had my first child, that I was allowed to work from home. So that was really cool back then. That kind of a new novel thing. It's very common nowadays, but I could work from home, but I was still tied to that schedule. And after my son was born, is about a year after that 9/11 economy crashed. They needed to downsize, right? I got downsized. So I lost my job and was trying to figure out what next to do, because I had this taste of being able to work from home. And so as I was interviewing for jobs and things, it almost just made me sick, thinking I was going to go out and work in the workforce, and I'm going to leave my kids how, somebody else raising them. And I honor you when you're in that place to do that. But I was like, if there's a different way, like, how could I do this? And so then I started teaching college classes at night, so that my husband was home and we just kind of swapped, but we didn't see each other much, right? And then he got hired and we had to move. So I didn't have that job available to me. And something kind of fell into my lap. And I know that God played a role in this, even though I wasn't looking for it. I was totally open to it. I started my own business and didn't even know it. So back when eBay was starting to get going, I had been given a sewing machine from my sister-in-law. And it was a really nice sewing machine, but it needed to be serviced. And I didn't want to pay to have it serviced. It did way more things than I was even capable of doing as, sewing anything. So I went on eBay. I sold this sewing machine for more than enough to go buy a new one, a new Singer sewing machine that was very basic, but new and didn't need to be serviced, and just did exactly what I needed to do. And then I was also scrapbooking, because I had now at that time 2 children and a third on the way. And I was scrapbooking their things, and it was really fun. And I was going on eBay to buy different scrapbook items, because we lived in a town that there was like 1,400 people. There was not much supply of anything there. So I had to go online to buy it. And what I found is that I could buy larger bulks of scrapbook supplies, and then I could sell them online in smaller bits, right? And then I started buying scrapbook stores in Utah, where I lived at the time, that were going out of business, because Utah was like a scrapbook mecca, oversaturated, and I could buy these at liquidated prices, like 10% of like the retail price, and then I could liquidate it online. And so I created this business, not even intentionally trying to create a business, that created a 6-figure income for us. It was more than I was making as a marketing manager working full-time. And I was doing this part-time from home. And it got so much that we were in this small little house, And my brand new baby, my third child, my first girl, with her crib in her room, had boxes and boxes of scrapbook supplies. And then we had this old shed, probably had mice in it, that was crammed with supplies. And they were in like every nook and cranny of our house. So we thought, okay, I need something else. And so we built a brand new custom home, and we paid that off in 3 years because of the income that came from the scrapbooking online eBay business that I had. And so that was my first venture. And there were lots of ups and downs and figuring things out, and just I had no idea what I was doing, but I was just going to figure it out and just kind of go with it, right? Because it gave me freedom. It gave me flexibility that I could do it on my own. But then it got to a point where like, I can't really scale this anymore. I have to hire some employees. And then that got complicated, and it got overwhelming, and it wasn't exactly how I wanted my life to look, but I saw that it had that potential. And then we moved to California, and I had shut that down, and things were really tight. Utah economy and California economy at that time, like things were way more expensive. And I just remember, and my husband, we moved for his job. I just remember thinking, gosh, I just want to have enough that we can put my kids back in piano lessons, because we had all this freedom and flexibility when we were living in a small town in Utah, completely debt free, and had this income from my business that we could do so much more. Our kids could do so much more. And so I just wanted that feeling back. I just wanted to feel like I could contribute to our household economy without me, again, going out and getting a job and having to put my kids in daycare, have somebody else raising them. And it was actually after having our fifth child, it was about a year later, I was online and I was watching this business overview from this company. And Seth, the one that was presenting it, he was just talking about how you can create income kind of in a different way, that it wasn't necessarily earned income where you had to sell something to make something, or show up, so many hours a day to get paid for those hours. Even like doctors, they have to perform their work, show up, do the surgery, whatever it is. They might get paid a lot per surgery or per hour, but they're still tied to that earned income. And it taught me a principle that was totally different, that I didn't learn in business school. And I don't know why they weren't teaching this whole idea of creating not just earned income, but residual or passive income, and that can create time freedom. So I'm going to talk about that in just a minute after I share with you, within a couple of years of starting this new type of business, that I was again at that 6-figure income, but it wasn't necessarily tied to the hours that I work or creating a sell, because I had created something that brought in residual income. It was bringing in income even when I was not working. And because of that, it created not just financial freedom, but it created time freedom and flexibility for me. And just so you know, I grew up in a really small town in Utah, and we lived in a trailer park. We didn't have much. My parents hadn't gone to college. They dealt with bankruptcy, just trying to figure out ends meet. My mom is an immigrant from Germany. My dad was a Vietnam veteran who suffered with PTSD and different addictions. I came from a place that nobody that I knew had even gone to college, hadn't graduated, you just kind of were surviving, right? And so as I was just kind of climbing out of that, not really knowing where I was headed, I just knew that I wanted to progress. I wanted to do better. And not just do better than my parents or people around me, but just I personally wanted to get better. Like every year, I just wanted to, okay, if I got to this point, then I'm going to try this. Whether that was with my health, with my family, with my relationships, with my business, with my income, that was just my goal, was growth, right? And my businesses were very much surrounding income, like the idea I want income so that I could do what, and fill in the blank for yourself. Why do you want to create that income? Because it's not really about the money. It's about what the money can do for you. And some of you filled out the surveys, the different surveys, because we all have something that drives us. Initially, for me, it was creating that income. And that income meant that my kids could do things. That income meant that we could get out of debt. That income meant that the stress was going down. The income meant that I had the opportunity to use my college education purposefully, right? Instead of just kind of letting it sit stagnantly. What does that income mean for you? Get some clarity on that, because that will be your driving force in creating this. And just know that it changes over time. So for me, my big reason why I do what I do now is because I want to make an impact. I see capable women, mothers, college educated, self-educated families out there who have so much more potential than they even realize. Because we have so many things available to us through technology and the stage of the game that we're in, that we can take advantage of that. That you can be having a job and creating an additional income. You can work your way out of a job if you don't want to be in a job. Now, I do want to now talk about this framework that if you understand this, and if it's something that aligns with what you want to create, that you will start seeing it. We have something that's pretty cool in our brain. It's called the reticular activating system, RAS for short. And basically what it does in our brain is that it will hone in to things, like it will help us to focus on things that we're aware of. And oftentimes, most of us know what we don't want, right? Like, I don't want XYZ. I don't want to be in debt. I don't want to have to work at that place anymore because those people drive me crazy, or I don't love what I do. I don't want to not contribute. And a lot of it is what I don't want. But because we're so crystal clear on what we don't want, that's where our brain will focus. And the crazy thing is that we get more and more of that. We get more and more of what we don't want, and we wonder why. But our brains have this powerful capacity that when we get clarity on something, and if we turn it into the positive something, if I get clarity on exactly what I want, the more clear it is, the more you can actually visualize it, see it in your head, which is interesting because I had a vision of creating this boot camp. I have been teaching and educating women and families for the past 10, 13 years, helping them to create businesses of their own. And in different ways, right? In fact, we have over, how many was it? Over 130 households that are six-figure income household because of the income that they've created through business. And I have thousands who have created 50 or five-figure incomes. So I know what I'm doing, but I didn't have like this system down as far as helping introduce people to these concepts that I have been teaching for a long time. And I had this vision back in June of creating this boot camp, crystal clear. I wanted at least 100 people to register, and I mapped it out exactly what I wanted it to look like. And funny thing, the pieces started lining up. I started doing the things that created that, to created this day where we have over 200 people who had registered for this boot camp. So getting crystal clear on what it is that you want, what you want it to look like, is kind of like if you're going hiking and we have this mountain that's outside of our home. It's called Mount Timpanogos. And usually there's snow on the top and a lot of people will hike it. But as you get hiking, as you get going, at points you can see the peak. And at other times, because you're in the trees and in a place on the trail, that you can't actually see it. But it's important to know where you're headed, right? And it's important at times to be able to look up and see that peak. So you can see, okay, yes, that's where I'm going. And also be able to reflect on back, like, oh, look at how far I've come. I may still have a ways to go, but I know where I'm headed. And I know that I've been making progress. Sometimes in our lives, we get super myopic, right? Where we are just so focused on the here and now. And if I could just create an extra $500, an extra $300, if I could get rid of this debt, whatever that is, right? If I could get the raise at my job and my husband could get, create more or change jobs, whatever that is, that we get so focused on the here and now that sometimes we take steps to create a little thing that we think is solving a problem, but is putting us in a direction of going to a place that we don't necessarily want to be. And it might be just a little bit farther in the same place that we are. And I was thinking, if I hadn't been laid off back in 2001, that I would probably have stayed in business, working as an employee and just trying to get the 5% raise, the whatever, the new position, maybe switching jobs over here, getting a little more experience. I probably would be on that same path. And that would not have necessarily led me to the peak that I really want as I started getting more clarity on what I wanted it to look like. as I was having children, that I could be with them, be around them, be engaged, that we had the funds to be able to help them. Now that we have college age kids, that their schooling is paid for and they have these opportunities to do these things that they are wanting to do that I never had the opportunity to do. I had to, work my way through school, which is not bad. It's honorable, but they have so many more opportunities. They're creating their own businesses, having extra income from different places, and they're seeing things in a different way. And that's what I wanted. And I didn't want to be tied to a job, right? So getting some clarity there. Now, I'm going to share my screen with you, hopefully. Sometimes we have tech glitches here, but I'm going to share. Let me turn on my iPad. And this is the thing, you can screenshot this or write it down if you're taking notes. I think that's the one. Allow. There we go. This is the thing that you will want to understand, because this can change your life if you get it and if it aligns with what you want. Now, I will kind of walk you through this. Let me find a little highlighter thingy bobs. Okay. Colleges train us to be employees. That is a fact, right? Even in the entrepreneurial, because the business school that I went to, there was an entrepreneurial track, but it's not the same as what I'm necessarily talking about. But it really does train us to be employees, that we're working for somebody else. We're working for somebody else's dreams. And some people are better off being employees. This is the first thing that you need to identify for yourself, is that, am I a better employee? Would I be happier as an employee? That I can just show up, put in my hours, do my thing. If I'm in sales, I can do the sales stuff, whatever that is, right? And then forget it. That I'm not driven by doing more. I don't want to think about these other things and take responsibility for them. I'd rather just show up and do my part, right? And there's no shame in that, but it's getting clarity, because I have mentored people who they just did not have the entrepreneurial mindset. That they felt like, okay, if I put in this many hours and I would create income, just like when I go to a job. How come I've been working for 90 days, for a year, and I'm not making even what I was making in a job? Because it takes longer. I look at being an entrepreneur and starting your own thing is almost like getting a college education. So if you're getting a 4-year degree, it might take 4 years, right, to get that degree. And then you might get a job. And then over time, you're going to work up probably in that job to earn more income. But if you think about, you put how much money into that degree over 4 years, basically you're in debt, whether you paid for it, whether you had scholarships, that amount of money and that amount of time was spent learning something. For people who are starting as an entrepreneur, I say just have that same mindset. I am starting my college degree in entrepreneurship, but I'm doing it, right? And you will more likely be making money during that. You just have to have that mindset that it's going to take time, that you're almost working for nothing as you're getting this started. And if you don't have that mindset, and if you're not in a place where you can afford to do that, then sometimes either staying as an employee or having like a part-time job, having, something where you're creating that earned income, is that safety net for you. And that's often why women who are married are some of the best entrepreneurs, because they have kind of a safety net. They have a spouse who is bringing in income while you're able to create your business, right? And if you're one that wants to create a business online, it's also going to give you that flexibility. So if your spouse's job moves somewhere, you still have this business that you can work anywhere, anytime, and design it for yourself. So we have employees, and then we have people who think that they are a business owner, but they're actually self-employed. And that's what I was with my first business. I was my business. I had to show up. I had to do the things. I had to put in the hours to create the sales online. I had to fulfill those orders. This is a lot of people who do coaching, that they're selling their time for money. They are the employee, but they're also like managing and owning it, but you are doing the work and you're self-employed. So 95% of the population is over here on this side of this cash flow quadrant, right? And the income is linear. That means you have to put in the hour, have the sell in order to create the income, and it's addition, right? So each year you're starting at 0, and then you're putting in your hours, or you're doing your sells. each day is 0. Like you have to put it in. And we just call this earned income because it's directly tied to the amount of time that we put in, right? Now, 95% of the wealth is actually over in this other side. And this is where not only financial freedom comes, but also the time freedom. Because being a coach is a perfect example of this, is because you can only sell so many hours of your day, right? In coaching, you can raise how much you charge someone if you're wanting to be a coach, but at some point you're going to cap out, right? If you're just selling your time. Now, if you create a system or you tap into someone's system, then you're not just trading your time. And a system, it could be thinking about different systems that there might be. Maybe you decide you want to write a book. So we do have somebody in here who's an author. And so if she's able to write this book, and then people buy it, every time somebody buys that book, that she's creating income for herself. Now, yes, there's all the behind the scenes of like actually writing the book, publishing the book, promoting, marketing, selling the book. Like there is some work and effort there. But once you have that system in place, like I know how to write books, I know how to publish, I know how to get them promoted so that I get the sales, like you have a system in place for that, then that book can go on to generate income. And it's not tied to your hours. You're going to get paid over and over and over again for that thing. That's often why people will create courses. And I know I had somebody mention like, hey, I bought a course about courses and they didn't make any money from it. Like it didn't work for them. So there are systems out there that work. There are systems out there that may not work as well, or there's some skills or things that you need to learn in order to do that. But we'll be talking about more of those tomorrow, and also on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll actually specifically going into how we can create or tap into a system. But basically, this generally takes less money to get started, right? It's like a low amount, but a lot of it is just your time, that you're putting your time and your effort into that. And I think this is the place where most people should start. And the reason why is because most people don't have enough money to be an investor that would create enough income for yourself to actually live off of, right? So a lot of times what people will do, they first are employees and then they start their own side gig where they're self-employed, and then they turn this somehow into a system where it's freeing up their time and creating extra income for them. And that might turn into a full-time income or more. And so that's basically what I did with, at first I was an employee, I got laid off, then I was self-employed, and then I started my new businesses where I was very focused on being able to create residual income, where I could put in some time and effort, but I could get paid over and over and over again for the work that I have done. And on Thursday, I will show you exactly the one that's been most profitable for me. It may or may not align with you, but it will help give you some insights of like, oh, maybe I could do that in this way. And then what we did as we were creating this income, because I've created multiple 7 figures from these businesses, that we were using our money now to be investors, where we didn't have to put our time into it. We were just handing money over to investments, whether that was in the stock market, in mutual funds, whether that was in, so we're accredited investors. That means that we have so much income that we can participate in different types of investments, that we're allowed to by the government, saying like, okay, you kind of know what you're doing and you're okay. Like if you lost it, that you could do that. And so now we have been investing in properties, rental properties, houses, in venture capital, where we're basically giving our money and somebody else is taking care of that, using that to create more money, and then we're receiving dividends, profit sharing, different amounts back from the money. So our money is working for us to create income. Most people are not at that place. And so that's why I say this is the place, business, being a business owner, having a system in place that will free up your time, and it takes not that much money. Now, when I say not that much money, depending on what it is that you're wanting to start, there will be some investment, right? There will be some things that you'll need in order to run a successful online business. But I will tell you, and I won't go into that. Let me stop sharing here. But I will tell you that, stop sharing my screen. I kind of lost my train of thought there. That, oh yes. So there is kind of a flow that you'll want to be aware of with online business, generally with whatever it is that you decide to do. And some of you already have like your own businesses that you're wanting to scale, grow, like be more successful, or to get them online and have it converting, right? That there are some things that you're going to have to invest in. But generally what I recommend, and most professionals will recommend, is that let's just say that you are offering a product or a service to a certain group of people, that you will want to find people that you already know and work with your warm market to just kind of vet that this thing that you have that you're offering works, right? That people are willing to buy it. And then you move from this warm market of people to cold market, which are like people that you don't know. And the cheapest, easiest way to do that would be through social media, because you're using someone else's system, their platform, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, on YouTube. You're using somebody else's system to tap into other like people that you don't know. So some people will go into like Facebook groups that have something to do with what it is that they're offering. They're the right people, right? And so that's time that it takes. But then there might be some education that you need to learn in order to not be that weirdo that is trying to sell you something online, right? That you're able to really connect with people, provide value, and they see that and they want to work with you or buy your thing, right? So we have the first circle is the warm market, and then we have the second circle, which is our cold market. And generally through social media, again, it's not taking a lot of money. It's not thousands of dollars to do that. But then you're also moving into where you actually have a system where you have people purchasing or buying your thing or your service regularly. Like you have those leads coming in, you have them converting through a system. And that generally is driven by ads. Okay. And so that will take money. But what happens is you spend money on ads. So probably majority of you came to this through ads, right? That you saw something, it resonated with you. I put money into those ads, but I also offered something that you could purchase. So this was a free boot camp. I am going to provide you a ton of value. And then there were some that paid for a VIP experience where they can actually meet with me, where they can ask their questions, they can get mentoring and guidance specifically for them. And so they paid for that. They are getting a tremendous value at a great deal. It's $27. Like normally to pay for my time for have an hour of mentoring, it's a couple of $100 to do that. So they're getting this at a deep discount, but that is also funding the ads, right? And it's bringing in consistently the right people who are looking for a way to create extra income online. And I love working with educated women who are moms who might be married, right? Like that is my target market. Even though you might be in this and you're not in that demographic, know that that is kind of the person that I'm honing in on, because that's who I am. I know her so well. I know the struggles. I know what's going on in those households and what you're trying to create. So those are kind of the three circles you want to be thinking of. So if you already have a business, like where are you? Have you actually tested this out on warm market, people that you already know that are in that demographic? If you haven't, it's working, like how can I move into social media? And that's what I help people to do without being weird, without being slimy, without it taking over your life, actually getting results, making real connections, not getting lost in scrolling and how to create content, all of those things. And then for those who want to they see that this is working, I want to move into more of a system. I can help people to learn how to do those ads, how to have those ads paid for, funded, to bring more people in consistently, right? So that kind of gives you an idea of like macro. Think about this, like where are you? That's one of kind of the homework assignments that I want you to be thinking about today. Where are you at on, let me share my screen again. Where are you at in the cash flow quadrants? Are you an employee right now? Are you going to share? There we go. Like, are you an employee? Are you creating income? That's awesome, because if you are, or you have a spouse, they're creating income, or you're unemployed and you're getting unemployment, whatever that is, if there's income coming in, either from employment or you are self-employed, and you have some extra funds, like minimal, I would say at least $200 a month that you can invest in creating a business system, you have what it takes to be successful. Now, if you only have, and I know people were filling out the survey, like as far as how much time do you have to invest, there were some people that were like 10 hours up to 30 plus hours, right? The more time you're able to commit, just the faster it will grow. But there are systems, business systems that you can create with $200 a month. And I look at that as your college education. How much did that cost per month for your college education? It was way more than $200, right? So that is kind of the mindset that you'll need to go in with, is that you will need to either buy some tools, online tools that you're going to be using. You might need to purchase some mentoring, because there's so much that you can learn online through YouTube. And it is like that do it yourself. Like I'm gonna bust through this, figure it out. And that's basically what I did. And it's fine. If you have a little bit of income that you can get some mentoring, purchase that course, buy that tool that will save you some time, then it can speed up the process for you. Is it necessarily like something you have to do? No, but if you have a little more income, you can speed it up. If you don't, then you're going to be using your time to learn the things that will help you to create that system. So having the mindset of when you're an entrepreneur, it's like getting a 4-year college degree, right? So there will be time you need to put into it, dedicated time, and there will be some income, money that you'll need to invest in that in order to create an income that can far exceed what you would earn with a 4-year degree, right? But just if you have that mindset. So with that being said, one of the things that will hold you up the most is your belief. And the reason is that our beliefs impact how we think, how we feel, and what we do, our actions. So if I have this belief, and I can tell this as I've been mentoring people, when I have someone that says, we'll see, like we're mapping out, strategizing what they're going to be doing in their business and what the next steps are. Like, here's what they plan to do this week, and here's what they're hoping it would create for them this week. And they use the word, we'll see. That to me is a sign of their belief in what they're doing. And I know when they say that they're not going to get the same results as if they truly believed like this was going to help their business move forward. The we'll see, the I don't know if it will work type belief is not enough to keep you going through some of the challenges that you're facing. And I think about, if you were like, here's this car that you're going to get into and go drive, right? And your belief was like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to crash. I'm pretty sure I'm going to fail. I'm pretty sure, like you're pretty confident in failure. You're probably going to be so stressed. You're probably going to do some crazy things because your belief is like, I can't do this. Then I say, don't do it, right? Don't do it right now. If your belief is such like, you know what, I am capable. Like, I've done these other things in my life. I know that I can learn new skills. I know that it's going to be hard, but I've done hard things. I look at my past and I see like, man, I overcame that. I overcame that. I dealt with that just fine. I can do this. First, it's belief in yourself and your capacity to do something like this. If you are in a business right now and you find yourself struggling, you might want to evaluate, what is your belief in yourself that you can do the thing that you're wanting to do. So first, it's in yourself. The second is your belief in like the thing that you're doing, right? So if you are wanting to create a course, if you're trying to create a product that you're selling, like, what is your belief level in that thing? Like, do I believe this thing works? Do I believe this thing changes lives? In your belief of that? Because if it's not, you're kind of like the used car salesman, and you're not going to get very good results as well. And your actions that you take and how you come across to people will be so different if you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe in the product or service that you're wanting to offer. And sometimes we see other people, right? We see somebody that's created something and you say, oh my gosh, like, that's awesome that they could do that. And I can see that that thing works, but I don't know if I can do that, So sometimes it's like, will that thing work for me? And often why we may not believe it is because we think about, all the reasons why it may not work because like I don't have that much time. I have like 3 little kids. I have like a spouse that's not supportive. I have all this stuff going on in my community or my church, all these responsibilities. And so you just present yourself with all the reasons why it won't work for you, even though it will work for other people. Again, you need to evaluate that for yourself. Is the environment that you have supportive of being able to do this? Now, one of the exercises that I recommend you doing to help you to gain that belief in yourself is if you will take a piece of paper, let me share my screen again. If you'll take a piece of paper out and you're going to put a line down the middle of this piece of paper. Let's see if that pops up. Okay. And, oh, let me get so you could just like write against, for, just something like that. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to write down all the things that will make it really difficult for you to be successful in creating an online business. So you might put, yeah, what do I have working against me? Well, maybe you don't have a 4-year degree, you have a 2-year degree and you think that that's not going to work for you. Maybe you have kids, maybe you have a job, work hours, maybe you have different responsibilities. Maybe you have migraines, whatever it is, just seriously brain dump all of those things. Everything that you think will make it hard for you to be successful. And then on the other side, you're going to be thinking about all the things that you have going for you, right? Maybe you know that you are resilient, that you know how to work through hard things. Maybe you have experience in this thing that you're wanting to create a business around. Maybe you do have a supportive spouse or a friend or somebody that you can partner with. Maybe you just have such a drive to have a different life for your kids, whatever those things are. Maybe you know technology, maybe you have a phone that you could use to work from, maybe you have a computer. Whatever that is, you're just going to map out all of those things. And then what you're going to do is you are going to focus your energy here. Okay, we're acknowledging these things are present, they happen, whatever, they're there. We're not ignoring them, but we really want to focus our energy and use the things in that column, in your right column, that will help you. Like these are tools, gifts, experiences, passion, maybe education that you have that you can use to create your online business, that you can use to work through the hard times, that you can use to figure things out when you don't know, right? And I'm going to help you in the next couple of days to know what some of these tools are that you can start putting on your for list that will help you to create this. But at any time, and this is not just for business, this is just a really great life skill tool that you can use anytime. Maybe you're having a challenge with something else at home with kids, whatever it is, and you just feel kind of overwhelmed. You can just stop, write this down on a piece of paper, acknowledge the things that are hard, that are not working for you, that are making it difficult to be successful in this thing. And then you do have things at the same time that will help you. We all do. But oftentimes what we do is we stay over in this, all the reasons why I can't be successful, all the reasons why I've always struggled with finances, right? And we focus there. And when we focus our energy in a certain place, we give it energy. And then we get more of that. Now, if we turn our focus to the things that we have that are working for us, that we have resources and tools and relationships, those things that we do have that are helpful for us, and we put our focus there and we use those, we will get more of what we want, right? So I hope that that's also helpful. Another thing is that you do want to surround yourself with people who are successful. So often, so many people will listen to those people in their life who aren't successful. They're the naysayers. They're the ones that will like tell you why not to do something, like that's a scam, that's a this, that's a that. But then if you evaluate their life, do they have a life that you're wanting? Yet we're giving power to them, right? To dictate to us what we should or shouldn't do. So that's why it's really important to surround yourself with people who you like, you trust, who are living a life that you may want, right? Surround yourself with those good people, those uplifting, those positive people. I think it's really important as you're going through this and you're evaluating this, and I'm going to give you a link to the boot camp workbook, because there's some things that you can kind of work through to help you to get clear on where you want to be, on what type of business. Now, you can just say, yeah, I want this income, right? Like, I want to have this income, but why, right? And then also, what do you want it to look like? Imagining that you have that income coming in. What do you want to be doing, responsible for, engaged in, as you have that, right? Because there are people, and this is when I was getting my MBA, many of the professors who were teaching, or the adjunct, the guest speakers that were coming in, every single one of them kept saying how they wished they had done it differently, that they thought that they had to work 60 hours a week and that they sacrificed their family to get to where they were. And then what they realized was that was not true, that they didn't have to sacrifice their family. They didn't have to actually work that much. They just didn't know that it was possible to create a life where they had that kind of balance. And so that's where I want you to get clarity, like not just creating extra income, but what do you want your life to look like as you're doing it, that is sustainable, and that when you do have that income, you're not like, holy cow, I hate my life. I have the income, but I hate my life, right? And so for me, we have an 8,000 square foot home. That would not be manageable if I didn't have the income in the insights to know that, okay, I am providing jobs for people who help come clean my house, who help take care of the lawn, who help do pest control, who help to do all these other things that need to be done, that I have an accountant, that I have a financial planner, that I have people who help me to manage my income. And it's just been step by step by step. So there's going to be some growth that needs to take place to create that life, but being able to imagine and visualize, like, what do I want it to look like? Do I want it to feel calm and peaceful, and that I can be present with my kids and things that are going on and that are important to me? Can I still have a life where I'm doing the things that I love, like passionate about? I love running, and so it always has to work around those kind of things. I love health and wellness and all that stuff. So my life needs to be, all of that needs to be a part of it. So really getting clarity on that. Okay, so let me just make sure that I've covered all this that I wanted to cover with you. I'm going to put in the Facebook Bootcamp. I will put the link to, it's a Bootcamp work. Let me share this screen with you just to kind of point out a few things about this workbook that I think will be really helpful. And again, whether you have an online business now or you're just getting started, this can help you to get clarity on starting the right business or making some pivots in your business to get going. So you can kind of check through all this, table of contents. This will be, what size of business do you want? Identify who you want to serve, what your, sorry, this. Okay, well, you'll see it. I'll just read it to you. Kind of try different futures on. This is where you're visualizing what you want it to look like. Also getting clarity on your strengths. There's a common sense test you'll want to take in there. Just know that this will be really helpful. You don't necessarily need to do it all. Just kind of look through that and see what would be helpful for you with where you're at right now, and do those things that are in there. It's just answering some different questions. It will help you get some clarity on different things. Like, my goal is to blank. In the next 12 months, I'd love my company to generate this amount of income, make this amount in net profit, and I'll be able to take home this much. Like, you're just getting some clarity on a few things. This should not take very long to do, but it can kind of be your guiding light, your North Star of where you're really wanting to go. See if there's anything else on there before I jump over to questions. So homework, the things that I really want you to do is evaluate where you're at on the cash flow quadrant, right? And where you would like to be. Now, most people will overestimate what they can do in a year, and they will underestimate what they can do in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. And why this is important to know is that if you're going to, like, once you get excited about creating your business or any kind of goal, you get kind of excited and you think, like, by doing these things initially, you're going to have these big results, and then they don't come. So you get discouraged, and oftentimes you think this doesn't work, or it's not going to work for me. And so you quit, right? And so then for sure, you're not going to accomplish the thing that you want to accomplish. So even it just in your mind, you understand that you are probably going to get less results in a year in your business than you're wanting to. But if you stick with it, you will get far greater results in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years than you would had you not done it, right? If you're just staying where you're at, staying on the course that you're at. And that's, again, entrepreneurial mindset, is that you have to take that long view. You have to look at it like, I'm going in this, like I'm getting an education. It's going to cost me some time. It's going to cost me some money. And when you come out of college, like traditional route, like you haven't been making much money while you're doing that. You're paying more into learning this than you are earning the money. So if you have that mindset, and I'm not saying that you're not going to make money initially from this. I'm going to go over some different ideas that will help you tomorrow to know, like, okay, these are some of the things that I can start earning money with right now, right? But they might not be the ones that are sustainable long-term, or they might not create a business system for you, but they're creating income right now. But while I'm creating income right now, I'm also working on creating my system so that I can long-term have sustainable income. So I don't have to be working like 40 hours a week to create 40 hours of income, right? That I might be working 20 hours a week, but I'm creating a 6-figure income. And I'm getting paid over and over again for this work that I've been doing the past 3 years, right? That's really what I want for you. If that doesn't align, that's totally fine. I would say just skip out on the rest of this. But if that's something that you're wanting, like I took 2 years completely off to go get my MBA degree. I was still making a 6-figure income. It was continuing to come in. I paid cash for that. Paid cash for a brand new Tesla like last month for my husband. Like we have access to so many more things. Like all of my kids, all 6 of my kids have their college education paid for. Now, do they need to go get a college degree? No, they might want to use that for a business venture. In fact, 2 of them already are. And then my daughter, who's living in Brazil, coming home next week, I'm super excited that she also wants to run a business, health, fitness type thing. She just loves helping people to get fit and feel better. And yes, so being able to use that money as investment in her to be able to create this thing that she wants. Like, I love that. I want that for my kids. I want other moms and families to have that for their kids so that they can thrive. But you might have other things, like other important things that you want. And so this can really help you to create that. You might be getting close to retirement. Seriously, you can be able to create that residual income within 3 years, right? You really can. If you're younger, right? Like you even have more time. So I love this. I love business. So I will put that link in the Facebook group and I'll email that out. Just so you're aware, I will email the link to this and also the replay link so that you can be on that. And for our VIP people, that we will start in probably like 5 minutes to do the Q&A. But let me just jump over to Facebook and see if we have any questions going on. Okay. Let's see. Hi, everyone. Now I'm seeing all of your comments in there. Is it Facebook Live? Thanks. Okay. Good afternoon. Seeing. Okay. Well, are there any questions or things that you'd like me to make sure that I cover in the next couple of days? Yes. Thanks. Thanks for answering the questions in there. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. I don't know if we have any over here on YouTube. I will probably check those out later. Hi, Stacy, not seeing your shared screen. Darn it. Okay, so YouTube doesn't work the same, but I will give you links. If you're in YouTube, just go ahead and register for the bootcamp because then you'll get access to the Facebook group where everything is kind of housed. If there aren't any other questions, I am going to end this live. For those who are VIPs, or if you want to upgrade to VIP, we will be starting at, let's see, what time is that on Pacific time? 11 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Mountain time, 1 p.m. Central, and 2 p.m. Is that right? Yes, 2 p.m. on the East Coast and Europe, whatever. If you have questions and you're in the VIP group and you can't stay, go ahead and send those to me. Text me. You have my number because I want to make sure that I answer any of the questions that you have, that we can kind of go through those, and then you can watch them on the replay. Those who are in the VIP group, that you'll have access to all the replays and some bonus materials and things, that you'll have access to that. Plus, you'll have this special VIP. Zoom chat. So I'm going to end the live, and if you post anything later, just know that I will answer that on our next call, or I'll answer it within the Facebook group. All right, everyone, love you. Get clarity, do the homework assignments. It's 11 a.m. Pacific time now. So VIP, it's starting in like 5 minutes, 3 minutes. I just want to give everybody a break. So hop into the Zoom chat if you're not in there. We'll be starting that shortly. Okay, I'm not going to end the Zoom, so you can hop in anytime. I'm just going to get up, run around, have a drink. You should do the same thing, and we'll get going on that. And if you did want to join, the link is in the Facebook group. You still have time to join that. Like I said, it's $27. You're welcome to do it. All right, we'll see you.